Hey guys, so today I'm going to teach you how I make my thumbnails for my channel. The first step is to make a new canvas, which is 1280 by 720, and that's the size that is standard for thumbnails on YouTube. Now you're going to take your picture and drag it into this canvas and it should just pop up. The next thing you want to do is resize it. Like if you look at the bottom here, there's a little white line. So you want to make the picture a little bit bigger so it covers that whole area. And then center it. So that's good right there. Now I want the words to be behind the Jeep. Like where the trees are and whatnot. And I want the Jeep to stand out. So I'm going to make another layer. And then what I'm going to do with that top layer is I'm going to cut out the Jeep and get rid of the background. So I just have the Jeep there. So the little eye thing, what it does, it takes away a layer. That way you're only working on one and there's nothing behind. You want to click the selection tool, the quick selection tool. So on the top, there's a plus and then a minus. So the plus means it's going to add. And let's say you accidentally go past what you want to get. You press the minus and it gets rid of some of the selection. And then you can just, fine tune it by changing the size of the selection too. So I'm just going to click the Jeep. I'm going to try to get all of the Jeep. There's a couple spots that I know I can't get with this, so I'm going to get it after I select everything. So I'm getting all of the Jeep right now. Make sure I got the mirrors. Now you want to right click after you selected it and then click select inverse. So that's going to select the background of the layer, and right here I'm going to press the eraser tool, backspace or delete, and then it's going to ask you if you want to rasterize the layer. Yes, and then it makes it so that you can delete the background. So now you click the selection tool again and then right click and deselect. So that makes it so that layer is just the Jeep. Now if you click on the other layer on the little eye, and it brings it back, so you have the background there and then you have the Jeep on top. So I'm going to correct the Jeep here where the tires are at, and then where the crossbars, those things are at, I'm going to clean up because I didn't get it in my selection. So it's pretty simple to do. I'm just erasing in between there. So now I have both of my layers ready to go. So the next step after this, what I like to do is I like to put a border around my Jeep. So I click the FX tool on the bottom left corner where my layers are at. And from here, I'm going to click on stroke. So that's going to give me like an outline of the Jeep. And then on stroke, you can change the color and the size of the line also. So on the stroke, you just click whatever color you like. I like green a lot when I'm working on my Jeep videos. I think green with a silver Jeep looks really good, so that's what I'm going with. And then for the drop shadow, I like to add a drop shadow to add more depth to the Jeep, to get it away from the background, if that makes any sense. So drop shadow is next. With the drop shadow, I like to just mess with the size and the spread until I get something I like, and then I change the opacity just until I'm happy with it. And this is all up to you, whatever you like, however you like your shadow to look. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that border around the whole picture green because it looks pretty cool. So I'm just gonna leave it there for now, and if I don't like it, I could take it off at the end, so it doesn't really matter. So now I'm going to click on my Jeep layer, the original, the background, and I'm going to go to filter, blur, Gaussian Blur. I believe that's how you say it. So this makes it so that the background is a little bit blurry and the Jeep is in focus. So I usually go with about a 1.5 to a 2 radius. It just depends how I think it looks better. So that's up to you. I'm going with a 1.5 for this picture. So all of these options are, trial and error. I like to add it, and if it doesn't look good, I'll take it off, or I reduce the amount that I add, and until I'm happy pretty much. So now you can see the difference between the blurry and then the regular layer when I turn it off and on. My computer's lagging right now because I didn't have my charger on it and my battery was dying. The next step would be to do the wording on the picture. So for this, I'm going to do snow and 4x4. So I'm just typing them out right now. So I'll change the font now. And there's two of them that I like, but one of them has numbers and one doesn't. So I'm just gonna, one font and the other with the other font, just to give a difference in the letters to make it stand out more. So I'm gonna work with the snow first. So what I'm gonna do is edit and then free transform, and I'm gonna make it bigger until I like it, until I think it looks good. So yeah, I'm gonna leave this one white because it's the word snow, so I kind of want it white. And now I'm gonna move the 4x4 and do the same thing until I get it as big as I want it. Yeah, something like that. And I want the 4x4 to be more spread out. Okay, so now I want the 4x4 to be more spread out. So I'm going to go up here to, no, not that one. Type layer properties. I'm going to make it bigger. About 200, yeah. Let's do 200. Okay, that's more like it. I like it there. So I'm going to line it up, and then I'm going to go with snow. And then on the bottom right corner, click the FX again and blending options. So what I like to do with the words is click on stroke. I'm going to go with the same green. I'll keep it that, and then I'll go to drop shadow. So same thing as like how I did the Jeep. But you see how I have the snow layer behind the Jeep? That makes the Jeep stand out, you know, because it's in front of the word. So I'm going to go to drop shadow until I get it to a place where I want it. I want the drop shadow to be more dark on this one and closer to the words. And then a little tip that I like to do is to make the snow look cool is I click on the texture where it says bevel and emboss. And then I just mess with the size right here. So I just change the scale just to give it a different look. I like it because I like to use it on all my words just to give it a pop, just to make it stand out instead of just plain. So now that I did that with snow, I'm going to do the same steps with 4x4. So for all my words, I pretty much do the outline, the shadow, and then add the texture, and that makes it so it stands out. Okay, but on the 4x4, I'm going to change the colors just to make it a little bit different. That way it pops, because if I do it the same color, it just blends in. It doesn't really look that good. So right here, I'm just choosing. So I think I'm going to go with the brown color right here with the white outline. And that kind of stands out, makes it look different. And you know what? I really don't like how 4x4 looks, so I'm going to change that. I'm going to put wheeling, like 4x4 wheeling or whatever. I'm going to put the letters closer. They're too spread out. And I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. That way all the words fit. That way all the letters fit. Okay, so now I'm just adjusting my words, and I don't like that green stripe around the picture, so I'm going to delete it. All you do is click the eraser tool, and that's it. So that's pretty much the picture there. A tip for your thumbnails, you want to keep the same type of theme throughout all your thumbnails. That way it matches on your channel, and when someone clicks on your video and they see that thumbnail, they see a similar thumbnail, they're more likely to click on that video if they like your first one. So that's just a tip, you know, try to keep the thumbnail similar. What I do is I keep them similar. I use the same fonts, but I just change the colors up. So I'm just saving it now. So when you're saving it, save it in a JPEG, and right here where it says quality, you know, small file to large file, you want to make it as big as you possibly can, but it can't go over 2 megabytes. So just be aware of that. So I'm usually between 10 and 12 in quality, and as long as I'm under 2 megabytes, and I'm good. So now I'm going to YouTube and I will upload a video. Here it is. These are my settings that are always there. So I'm going to upload. I'm going to drag the thumbnail onto where it says upload thumbnail, and that's it. And you have your thumbnail already loading. So if you have any questions, you could either leave them down below in the comments, or my Instagram link is in the description. You could always message me there. So thanks for watching, guys. If you guys liked the video, be sure to share it, like it, leave a comment down below.